What are you wearing today?
Maybe Prada.
I don't know if it's real or not.
Got this shit on today, man.
I cannot stand low-rise jeans.
What song are you listening to?
How much does your outfit cost from head to toe? Let's talk about it.
How much do you pay for rent in New York?
Top is from Bershka. It's a German shop.
Unreleased, depending on when you're gonna drop this video.
I'm dressed on my, proper team.
Can't wait. Love you. Bye.
Love ya.
I think it's fair to say that I'm addicted to interview style content, and from the view counts on some of these videos, it seems as though you are too. Whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, creators who have leaned into this style of video creation have found immense success in their endeavors. Why is this? Why are we as an audience so compelled to watch interview after interview after interview? That is exactly the question we're going to try to answer, as well as unlocking what I think the future of this genre of content will be. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Drew. What it do? It's nice to meet you. Let's talk interview content. It's tough to specifically pinpoint the exact origins of interview content on the internet, but I'm going to give you two vantage points. The first vantage point is through the lens in which I most commonly consume content on the internet. That vantage point is through a lens of fashion. The earliest rendition of interview content that I was aware of came from a creator known as Unknown Vlogs. The style of videos he was creating back in 2016-2017 were titled, "How much does your outfit cost?" Essentially, he would scour the streets of London, Paris, and other major European cities and ask the simplest of questions, which was, how much does your outfit cost? The amazing thing about Unknown Vlogs is the fact that even 6 years ago, he was able to interview A and B-list celebrities. In this video, for example, he ran into Lucas Sabat and Aaron Preston, two very noteworthy creators within their respective field. In the fashion space, most people anoint Unknown Vlogs as the arbiter of interview content in the space. His videos truly helped popularize the genre in the online YouTube fashion world, and catapulted his channel to being one of the most prominent fashion channels in the world. When I look back on a lot of these videos, they have a very early YouTube mid-20-teens feel.
Yo, what is good, guys? We're doing a cool Yeezy giveaway. No clickbait, watch this.
How much is the outfit? Okay, so let's start with the Waver Max. They're like $235.
Even just 6 years ago, the internet was not as sophisticated as it is now. Making videos on YouTube didn't have the same cachet as it currently does. And there are intangible aspects about these videos that make these clips feel a bit nostalgic, funny enough. On a personal level, I remember watching these videos as a college student and thinking, damn, where do all these kids get this money to spend on clothes like this? My initial reaction was a bit of judgment, and you can see the same reaction reflected in the comments of those who watched these videos even 6 years ago. The second vantage point as it relates to interview content online is more broad. It's rooted in the interviewing of random people in order to get a pulse on how others perceive particular topics. For example, probably the most popular in the genre is asking Europeans, what do you think about Americans?
I'm asking questions about how Europeans see Americans.
I think it's a third world country with a lot of money. Very negative.
Very negative.
Yeah, I don't see anything positive about America.
I think they're a bit stupid. American TikTokers, they earn too much money with what they do. Like in Belgium, we have to work for our money and they just make videos and that's it.
Oh my God.
These styles of videos can garner millions and millions of views. YouTube, for as much as it's grown, did begin in America, so naturally these sort of videos appeal to a wide American audience. From a mass media standpoint, I think it's safe to say that the origins of broad interview content originated in traditional media. Late night shows are famous for adding hilarious bits to their shows with wonky, random interview style of content.
Gary, where are you from?
Whittier, California.
What do you do out there besides scare school children?
This style eventually trickled onto YouTube, which eventually trickled onto platforms like TikTok and Reels. And on these platforms, interview content has taken on a whole new life of its own. The reason interview content began gaining so much popularity is because interview content, at its core, is the most authentic content on the internet. Creators who go out and interview others capture specific, unreplicable moments in time and share it with the rest of us. Interview content is so captivating because you simply can't plan or predict the outcome of the video. It's almost as though the video makes itself rather than the creator being in absolute full control. You can't predict who's going to be outside, what they're going to be wearing, and what their apartment will look like. All of these variables make for a very addicting, unexpected, but repeatable formula. I also think that interview content is so popular because naturally, we all are curious about other people in other parts of the world. What are people dressing like in Paris? What does this $2,000 studio apartment in New York City look like? What song are you listening to? These are basic, simple questions, but that is also what makes them so good. The internet's biggest selling point is connection, and the fact that we can peer into the lives of others through these sort of videos is both interesting and entertaining. We all project our lives onto other situations and people. If you're watching a scary movie, for example, it's natural to think how you would evade the killer in the situation that you're watching. Same goes for watching interview style content. If the question in the video is,
how do you feel about Kanye West?
Most people rhetorically have an answer in their head. And I don't know if you've done this before, but I have. I've watched these sort of videos with friends and family, and the conversations that are generated from these videos can be some of the most fascinating, intense, and best conversations that I've ever had. Focusing back in on fashion, it's so great being able to see different street styles in different parts of the world. Especially as someone who feels isolated living in a state that doesn't always go as hard for street fashion. There are definitely some great noteworthy benefits of interview style of content, but where there's a good side of content, there's also always going to be inversely a bad side. Now when I say bad, I'm not saying these videos are objectively harmful or bad, but rather they don't feel as rewarding after you're done watching them. I'm talking about interview style of content based on partying, clubbing, and drunk people in the streets. These sort of interviews, I guess sort of similar to late night bit interviews, are intended to catch people in very sensationalized ways, meaning to show people who are drunk or who are going to do something a bit promiscuous. Funny enough, these videos also get hundreds of thousands if not millions of views as well. Not all of these videos I would consider to be bad actors, but I would say a great majority of these videos do pander to the male gaze. With that being said, the future of interview content is bright in my opinion. And after sitting down and thinking about it pretty intently, I believe interview content will be some of the best content available online, if it isn't already. Up until this point, I've primarily talked about street interview content on YouTube and TikTok. At least I've shown clips from YouTube and TikTok. But the actual breadth of interview content online is staggering. From social experiment and interview style content coming from something like Jubilee, someone like Emma Chamberlain no longer making videos and deciding to focus on podcasting and interviewing via her podcast. The sheer number of interview style podcast shows is a great example, from Joe Rogan to Colin and Samir and Lex Friedman. Even one of the more interesting styles of interview content comes from a creator named Peter Santinello. He creates long-form interviews, but instead of being in a studio, he's out in the world talking and interviewing with the interviewee. He's talked with the Amish, he's gone to the hoods of New York City, he's interviewed so many unique and interesting people within their communities, and it's so powerful and raw. One of my personal favorite large-scale interview channels is the channel Asian Boss. Asian Boss is a wonderful resource for understanding and learning about the perspectives of people from the Asian continent. This type of content also exists in Africa and South America. Simply put, interview content has an immensely bright future in front of it. What are some of the things that you like and dislike about interview content? And as always, I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity in 2023. So that means I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity to you from me. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful rest of your day. Abianto. Peace.